Hello everybody, it's Bourbon Bill, and tonight a very special episode. Some say the greatest episode of the year. And to really celebrate tonight, guess who we have with us?
Me.
It's Rita and Lucky Deer right here as well to help bring in the top 10 bourbons of 2024. It was a pretty good year for bourbon, we gotta say. Prices were pretty damn high. We didn't appreciate that. But there's a lot of well-aged stuff that came out, which is right up my alley. And a lot of good killer single barrels. So, a few housekeeping items. There are single barrels in here because I truly believe you also can find good single barrels if I did. So, there you go. Caveat there. Also, it is any bottle I got in 2024. Doesn't mean that it had to have been a 2024 release. And there's one bottle in particular, you'll see kind of why I made that rule. But, again, I'm an average guy. So if I can get it, so can you. Right? So there you go. So we do include single barrels. We do include any bottles I got in 2024. Because, frankly, if you don't, you miss a few things that are maybe released at the very tail end of a year. Something like that. Which wouldn't be fair, would it? And we're all about fairness on this channel. Wouldn't you say, Rita?
No.
Before we dive into the top 10 and 2 honorable mentions, we have to talk. We have to talk about 2 whiskeys that were kind of disappointing in the blind. So my brother-in-law did this blind with me. Thank you, Nate. But it's my channel, so if I thought differently, my thoughts prevailed. But we did take his into account. It was a good sanity check. We have pretty similar palates. So this lineup's pretty much the same for him with, stuff maybe moved 1 or 2 spots. That was it. No other really crazy differences between his and my results this year either. But we had 2 whiskeys that we thought would have did really well this year that I thought were for sure going to make the top 10. And in the blind, they fell apart so bad they weren't even really worth an honorable mention. So these are surprise shockers that did bad. Bardstown Disco 12. I still stand by. This is one of the best Discovery series since number 4. Since number 4, that long ago. And I love this bottle on its own. Still do. Still think it's definitely worth a buy, but failed horribly in the blinds. I mean, it didn't even come close to the top 10. Sadly.
Move on.
Rita's rushing me along already. Second bottle that kind of disappointed for the price. Old Forester President's Choice. This was an 11 summer or 11 year Old Forester President's Choice. $275 hairs, and again, didn't crack top 10. Very disappointing. Still a delicious bottle. Probably the pinnacle of Old Forester, right? It's still very good. I still think you should taste one or find one if you could, but it just wasn't good enough. Didn't carry enough oak to make top 10 this year, which is pretty sad. Pretty sad for its price point. We have 2 honorable mentions this year that just barely missed the top 10. A shocker for me. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof B524. $70 hair. Excellent value. We all know and love these, but 2024 wasn't a stellar year for Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, if we're going to be honest. But B524 was the highlight of the year. It did really well in the blind. So we had about 21 bourbons we went through to narrow it down to 10. And this sucker was holding on almost all the way up to 10. And then it fell off the tracks right before. Ran out of gas right before the finish line. Jack Daniel's 10-year batch 3, a phenomenal batch this year. I've wavered on different days whether this was better than the 12 in 2024 or not. And the night of the blind, it wavered as not better than the 12. So, still very good. Just need a little more proof. Delicious bottle. Narrowly missed the top 10. And in fact, if it wasn't for this next hitter bottle, it would have made the top 10. What you've all been waiting for, and what Lucky Deer is really here for, the top 10 bourbons of the year, according to Bourbon Bill. Now look, this is the real list. This ain't no Fred Minnick bullshit where he's been paid off or whatever, and we're not drinking swill. This is the top stuff of 2024 that I was able to get a bottle of. Remember that. I had to get a bottle. So thank you to all those who send samples, but they couldn't be included if I couldn't get a bottle. Rita, number 10, please.
Put Lucky Deer down. He's flying back to Santa.
He's flying back to Santa. Woo! Okay.
No. Safely.
Number 10 was a shock even to me. Russell's 10-year bourbon, and not just any, the LLME20. Go watch my review on that. What a phenomenal bottle. I guess it's been debunked that there was Russell's Reserve 15 in it, but there's a lot of older whiskey in here, and this is far and above better than most any other Russell's 10 I've ever tasted in my life. So if you can find an LLME20, definitely get it. I don't know if the 17s or whatever are as good, but it was only because of the special stuff in here that it made top 10. Only fell apart because of the proof, 90 proof. That's number 10. Number 9, please. Our first single barrel pick. Old Bones Bourbon from Backbone Bourbon Company. This is Secret Stash from Dara and Bill. Just a phenomenal hitter of like 10-year, 4-month MGP. That is red dark in color. Very much feels like Buffalo Trace profile, even though it's MGP, and just the stellar punch of flavor was unmistakable, and that's why it earned our number 9 spot. I'm sure you can also find a 10-year plus Old Bones pick. Be on the lookout. Number 8. Some of you may complain about this. George Dickel 15-year single barrel, and I know some of you hate the Dickel mineral note, but that's because you weren't loved as children and your parents didn't buy you those delicious Flintstone vitamins.
Or they just hate the name. Who wants to say Alvin Dickel?
Well, besides the name, Rita, but it is really good bourbon. This one in particular, I think, shone through at number 8 because of the proof. 104.8, one of the highest I've seen. This is a killer barrel. I believe it's a lot older than 15, like a lot of these are. So if you do like Dickel, it might surprise you how this... It's a pick, but it's a shelfer type pick, if you know what I mean. Place number 8.
The 3 different fonts are killing me.
The 3...
What marketing?
The fonts on this bottle are bothering Rita. So, Bull Run and Seal Box, there's a hint. Take notice and fix that shit. Number 7, another shock. It's the Seal Box Bull Run 10-year finished in cognac. This bottle fought hard from the bottom 20 all the way up to number 7. This was a 10-year MGP bourbon, finished for like an additional year or so in cognac casks. Sealbox had this. Total Wine had some picks of these early in the year, and there was also some 8 years. I didn't taste the 8 years, but these 10s are phenomenal. One of the best finished bourbons I've ever had, and its place in this great lineup shows you why. Pick one up if you can still find them. Number 6, one of my favorite distilleries, Rita. Jack Daniel's 12-year batch 2. Holy smokes, we love our aged Jack Daniels. Killer 107 proof Jack Daniels. If you know, you know. Pick one up. They're like $100 hairs this year in 2024. They are doing a batch 3 for 2025, and supposedly the Jack Daniel's 14-year will be out in 2025 too at barrel proof, and that will probably eclipse this in greatness. But we'll have to find out and see. Up next, number 5, and a shock that me and my brother-in-law didn't quite see coming, even though we love this bottle, we love this distillery, but it placed way higher than I ever would have thought. Knob Creek 18-year batch 3. I told you in my video review, batch 3 was just as good, if not better, than batch 1. And boy, did she come to play. So this bottle really crushed with its delicious oak orange flavor. Only thing holding it back from the top 4 slots was the proof at 100. Come on, Knob Creek. Up the proof. I want to see Knob Creek 20 a cask. That's what I want to see. But don't overlook this bottle. These are sitting on the shelves in PA because people are just like, it ain't Pappy. It ain't Blanton's. Look, pick one of these up. One of the best bourbons of 2024.
And if you subscribe, you'll ship him a bottle.
No, I won't read it. We don't have extra of these. All right, we're now to the top 4. The real kings of 2024. And this bottle here is one of the reasons I said we're going to include bottles I got in 2024, whether or not it's a 2024 release. Read a number 4, please. Yeah. 13th Colony Double Oak Bourbon. And no, the bourbon is as black and dark as the label. This is the 2023 release, actually signed by the master distiller. How damn cool is that? Did purchase this off Sealbox in 2024. It's amazing that Sealbox held back a signed 2023 and just randomly released it in 2024. From what I've heard, this is as good, if not better, than the 2024 release, so close enough. I got this bottle in 2024. We're going to use it in place. I didn't get a 2024 13 Colony Double Oak. If you know, you know. This stuff's fantastic. Fun note, Fun note, for the first time, starting in, I believe in 2025, because they've finally changed their labels, 13th Colony is getting a lot more transparent. The source of their juice is now MGP, and they are putting on the label that it is MGP, and they are finishing it with like maple staves and all kinds of stuff like that. So the truth's coming out on what 13th Colony is. They're not adding syrup or colors or all that weird stuff. Syrup, potato, potato.
No.
Tomato, tomato.
Syrup, potato, tomato.
Rita, that's just a pet peeve of Rita's. Syrup versus syrup. Comment below what's your favorite, syrup or syrup?
Syrup.
But how would they comment that? Phonetic spelling, I guess. Either way.
It'd be like S-I-R.
Okay.
We don't say sir.
All right, Rita. Either way, 13th Colony Double Oak is the truth. It's delicious. If you can get your hands on one, go ahead. They only release about 3,000 bottles a year, so I know it's tough. Now, you might say, my God, Bourbon Bill, 13th Colony Double Oak is like the pinnacle of bourbon, and it didn't even crack the top 3. What are your top 3 bottles of the year? If you're a fan of my channel and paying attention, maybe you can guess them. So go ahead and timestamp and make a guess on what the top 3 are and the ranking. Pause. Okay, Rita, number 3. Number 3 is a bottle from a distillery that I shit on because of their pricing, and their treatment of you is terrible. And I hate to say you should spend your money with them. And this bottle's overpriced, but it is fantastically delicious. Russell's Reserve 15-year bourbon, a blend of 15 and 16-year-old goodness from Wild Turkey.
How much was it?
God, it smells wonderful. Wonderful.
No, how much was it?
$250 hairs was the price on this, Rita. Now,
we're getting this spot full day.
spot full. God, I shouldn't have had Rita in this video. Okay, now $250 hairs for this bottle was MSRP, so we didn't pay a penny over, Rita. Didn't pay a penny over the minimum amount allowed by law. Russell's Reserve 15 really wasn't $100 hairs better than Russell Reserve 13, which is where I have a problem with their price. But it was one of the best bottles of the year. You know, Fred Minnick said it's the best bourbon of the year. He's wrong. It's not. A lot of people are claiming that it is. It's very good. To me, it doesn't quite reach the pinnacle of the best bourbon of the year. It doesn't quite deserve that title. But it is quite good. So it is number 3 for those that really... A lot of you want to know, where's that place in your ranking, Bourbon Bill? Number 3. Bottle number 2 is significantly cheaper. Now, it was back and forth. You know, maybe Russell's 15 could have edged into second, but Nate and I both felt that this bottle was slightly better to us that night of the blind. Number 2, Rita? Again, one of my favorite distilleries, and the second time this distillery, actually the third, has showed up on the, well, the second time it showed up on the official list, the third time in this video. Number 2, appearing for the second time officially, the third time unofficially in this video, it's...
Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels Coy Hill 2024. Thank you, Rita, for that guess, even though you could have read the bottle when you handed it to me. Look, this is a phenomenal bottle. 11-year-old Jack Daniels at barrel proof. Even though it's the middle floors, it ain't as high as the original Coy Hill, you know, hazmats. But all the flavors still here with additional age. Pretty damn cool. Jack Daniels never disappoints on their LEs, and they're always a great value at only $70 hairs. Come on. Come on. Number 2, what could possibly be better than this and Russell's Reserve 15?
Your number 1 pick.
That's right, Rita. My number 1 pick. Rita's finally catching on. Number 1 pick, Rita. Can you please pass that over here?
Miles ahead of you.
Miles ahead. One of the best bourbons I've ever tasted. Again, from one of my favorite distilleries. Honestly, among all the bourbons I've tasted, not owned, this is up there with Michter's 20. It's up there with Heaven Hill 17. It is Hardin's Creek Jacob's Well Batch 2 or 211 month. It is the pinnacle of Beam. It is the best thing Beam's ever released. It was a clear winner for both Nate and I. There was no second guessing, oh, well, could this be second? No. It was a clear winner among all these.
Wearing a chastity belt.
It's wearing a chastity belt, Rita said, because that's right, we keep this shit locked up tight. No lips except mine touch this bottle. Anyway.
What's the price?
Price on this bad boy is $165 hairs MSRP, and what a fucking bargain. It's 17-and-a-half-year-old bourbon for less than $10 hairs a year. while these schmucks over here are charging you $250 for a 15-year. That's what pissed me off about Wild Turkey. They're as large as Beam. They could do the same thing Beam's doing, but because Campari is so greedy with Wild Turkey, it just pissed me off. But anyway, this deserves and is the best bourbon of 2024. Funny enough, go watch my best bourbons of 2023. Spoiler. Okay, pause and come back. Hardin's Creek Frankfurt won last year, and this is better than that. So, there you go. Now, this was released probably like December of 2023, but most of the distribution didn't occur until January of 2024 in that time frame, or a little bit later. So this, to me, is really a 2024 release. Nobody really had it much in 2023. So, again, a killer bottle. This is up there in like the Hall of Fame with like some of the best bourbons ever made. And like nobody knows it unless you watch my videos. Like people are just clueless how good this is. Definitely pick one up if you can find it. I think if you spend $250 in that price range for it, it's still a good value for what you're getting. You're getting a nice little leather dog collar, or as Rita calls it, a chastity belt. Nice cork and all. So there it is, the top bourbon of 2024. So there you go. Bourbon Bill has given you the definitive list. You need not look elsewhere for anything. That is it. That's the pinnacle of bourbon for the year in 2024. We are going to do a rye of the year for 2024, and that's going to be a spicy rye competition. So come on back for that one. And then we are going to do, probably a week or so later, we are going to do a Sagamore blind, do the best Sagamore rye of the year. Best value whiskey of the whole year has already been announced. I announced that in my video. It is Bulleit 12-year rye at $55 MSRP for a 12-year age-dated MGP rye. Fantastic. What a screaming bargain of a value. And I hear places like California... Thank you, Rita, for the scream. And I hear places like California have it for like $47. 12-year-old MGP rye is unheard of at that price. There you go. That was the best value of the year. These are the best bourbons of the year. Stay tuned for best rye of the year. Please like, comment, subscribe. Consider joining my Patreon, where my Patreon members have access to most of the Sagamore bottles that they'd like. Have a good evening, everybody.